Samsung's Galaxy S Ultra lineup has always been about giving users the very best of the company's technology, a no-compromise device that combines performance, design, and camera power in one package. With the Galaxy S26 Ultra, Samsung isn't changing that formula, but it is refining it in ways that make a clear difference. Everything from the design to the camera system, from the display to the chip inside, has been adjusted to make the experience smoother, lighter, and more efficient. The first and most noticeable change is the design. The S26 Ultra keeps the same overall identity as before, but it's now slimmer, lighter, and easier to hold. It's now 7.9mm thick and weighs around 217 grams. That's a noticeable improvement compared to last year's model, which measures 8.2mm in thickness and weighs 218 grams. In addition to reduced weight and thickness, Samsung has rounded the corners even more on the Galaxy S26 Ultra and softened the edges, so it no longer feels as sharp in the hand. The frame is still titanium, giving it that premium feel and strong durability, but the ergonomics are better this time. The bezels around the screen are thinner too, giving it a more immersive look without changing the overall size of the phone. Around the back, Samsung is switching from the floating lens camera layout we've had since the Galaxy S22 Ultra to a new unified camera island. It's a simple design change, but a practical one. With larger sensors and wider apertures coming in, more about that in a second, this layout gives Samsung more room to work with while keeping the phone's body slim. The new camera housing blends the lenses into a single raised island, creating a more structured look that feels consistent with the rest of the Galaxy lineup. It also helps with durability and dust resistance, as the lenses now sit in a more protected frame instead of being individually exposed. The only downside is that the module protrudes more on the S26 Ultra than before. The camera bump is noticeably thicker, and while it's a trade-off for improved optics, it does mean that the phone won't sit perfectly flat on a table. When placed down, we could see it wobble a bit, something similar to what you'll find on the Galaxy Z Fold 7. It's not a deal breaker though, just one of those small compromises that come with packing high-end camera hardware into a thin design. On the flip side, the front of the phone has also been upgraded in several ways. It's still a 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED 2X panel, but this year Samsung is using a new layer technology that replaces the traditional polarizer, allowing more light to pass through. It's a new COE tech, which stands for Color Filter on Encapsulation, and it means better brightness, lower reflections, and improved efficiency. Combine that with the new M14 OLED materials and the third-generation Gorilla Armor glass, and you're looking at a display that's tougher, clearer, and easier to see outdoors. Samsung also added a new AI Magic Flex feature that can automatically limit the viewing angle when displaying private information, so only the person holding the phone can see what's on screen. It's a smart, subtle privacy feature that fits right in with Samsung's focus on useful AI. At the bottom, the S Pen remains part of the Ultra experience, still stored inside the device, but with a slight redesign to match the more rounder corner. There aren't any major feature additions this year, and the Bluetooth remote functionality hasn't returned, but it remains accurate and responsive for note-taking, sketching, and signing documents. When it comes to the camera, Samsung's focus is refinement, not a full redesign. The 200-megapixel main sensor returns, but with a wider f1.4 aperture that should capture much more light. That alone could lead to better low-light shots and more natural depth in portraits. Samsung is also improving its lens coating to reduce glare and reflections, and there's talk of introducing a virtual aperture system powered by AI to simulate background blur more accurately. The telephoto setup stays largely the same, but with a few tweaks. The 5x zoom camera keeps its 50-megapixel sensor, but now uses a wider aperture for better performance in darker scenes. The 3x module is going from 10 to 12 megapixels. However, the phone is said to crop images down to 10 megapixels, so there's really no upgrade here. If anything, some may even consider this as a downgrade because the aperture is now smaller than that of the Galaxy S25 Ultra, but expect the new lens to benefit from improved image processing. The ultra-wide camera remains 50 megapixels, with software optimizations to deliver more consistent color and detail across all lenses. On the front, there's a new 12-megapixel selfie sensor, and although it's the same megapixel count as its predecessor, it's a completely different lens with wider aperture, which should produce sharper and cleaner results even under challenging lighting. For video, Samsung is introducing a new recording codec called Advanced Professional Video, or APV. It's designed to deliver higher bitrate video with 12-bit color while taking up less space than traditional formats. It also supports HDR and LOG profiles for creators who want to color grade their footage, plus direct SSD recording over USB-C. There's even support for up to 100 frames per second at 4K and 1080p, giving more flexibility for slow motion and creative shooting. Under the hood, performance will be handled by Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, but there are small talks of Exynos making a comeback to the Ultra line, which is most likely not accurate. There's a high chance that the base S26 Pro and the S26 Plus, yes, the Plus is back in frame, might use Exynos in certain regions, but the Edge and Ultra, based on report from more reputable sources, will use only Snapdragon. Both chips are built on advanced 3nm and 2nm processes respectively, offering better efficiency and sustained performance. The Exynos 2600 uses Samsung's new 10-core layout, while the Snapdragon runs at a peak speed of 4.74 GHz. Day-to-day differences will likely be small, especially since Samsung is improving its cooling system this year to handle heavy workloads more consistently. RAM and storage are also getting a boost. The S26 Ultra is expected to start with 16 GB of RAM with up to 1 TB of UFS 4.1 storage. That extra memory isn't just for multitasking, it's part of Samsung's broader AI integration. The company wants more tasks, like real-time translation, image generation, and voice commands to run directly on the device without relying on the cloud. There are a few smaller but meaningful upgrades in other aspects too. The new dual NFC antenna system should make Tap to Pay more reliable, something users have quietly wanted for a while. The fingerprint scanner under the screen is faster and more accurate, and the USB-C port might finally support faster data transfer speeds for those using external drives or cameras. Battery life should stay solid thanks to the same 5000 mAh cell, but Samsung has made some internal changes to improve thermal management and power efficiency, and there's a big chance we'll see charging speeds increase from 45 watts to somewhere around 60 watts. Even if the numbers don't change, improved heat control could still lead to shorter charge times overall. Wireless charging might also get a boost with the new Qi 2 standard, which supports magnetic alignment and potentially faster speeds of up to 25 watts. On the software side, the S26 Ultra will launch with One UI 8.5 based on Android 16. It builds on Samsung's existing AI foundation with smarter context recognition, better multitasking, and deeper integration with both Bixby and Google Gemini. The interface looks cleaner and more responsive, and Samsung's commitment to 7 years of software updates means this phone will stay current for a long time. Altogether, the Galaxy S26 Ultra feels like a thoughtful update. It's not a massive redesign or a complete overhaul, but it's clear Samsung focused on refining every key area that matters. The result is a device that's more balanced and mature, and for users who value consistency, performance, and long-term support, this could be one of Samsung's most well-rounded Ultras yet. With that said, do consider subscribing to the channel for daily Samsung news and updates. Don't forget to turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.